As always, we start by centering the land, and I'm aware that some of you have already very recently centered the land. We're going to do it anyway because it's the process. Um, so we start by centering the land because the land was here long before we became people. The land is who caused us to rise up and become people, and the land will be here long after we are no longer people. However, whenever that happens. So everything that we are and everything that we experience comes from the land and will return to the land. And as we are beings on the land and in the land, that also comes with an obligation of care and stewardship, as well as working towards right relationship with the land and all of our relations, and the ways that are available to us. And sometimes we have to kind of seek those ways out, and that's part of the process. Um, so I will specifically acknowledge that I am on lands traditionally known to a large number of tribes, primarily the Tonkawa and the Cowatecan peoples, as well as a bunch of other nomadic tribes, some of whom are still around in the area. And I offer them a deep, deep gratitude for their stewardship, as well as an acknowledgement of the genocide that they have lived through, which in many ways is still ongoing. And I came up with a fun check-in question today because it's Friday. What is a yummy dessert that you had recently? And the
Nailed
circle,
this one.
the circle as I see it is Roland, Becca, Ben, and me. Over to you, Roland.
I don't want to go first. I want Ben to go first, but I will. So I'm just going to not say what I know he's going to say. I am going to say Date Square. Oh, and I've forgotten. Is it Becca next? Yes.
I had a fruit salad that I made and then added some kind of Middle Eastern cheese, very soft kefir with lemon that I bought at the farmer's market to it. It was really, really good. Sorry, I missed that text.
Oh, it's just a circle.
And
That's over to me.
yeah.
I'm sure yours was nice. Mine was better. We had and it wasn't just we had a Mexican hot chocolate pie last night, and it's not just that the pie is delicious, but we had a really, really wonderful week with Nick and Jenna, and it was on every level. It was just a great week. And Roland sort of snuck a chocolate pie in for dessert, and and everyone was blown away. And Nick, in listing his deep gratitude for the week, listed the chocolate pie as like #1. So, and it really is just fantastic. So, over to Ronnie.
That sounds amazing. Yeah, Ben, you have that dessert glow about you.
We had guests. I got dessert.
Rosh Hashanah was a few days ago, and traditionally we eat lots of fruits. And so I made a fruit compote that was a mix of fresh fruit and dried fruit. And it turned into this just amazing, syrupy, rich dessert, lots of honey. And then I paired it, I ate it warm with vanilla ice cream, and it was really good. So thank you all for sharing your desserts. That was fun. I will go ahead and share. Oh, I need sharing capabilities, please, Ben.
Yep.
Ben is on it.
There you go.
Thank you. Oh, I have so many windows. Okay. I'm going to share our task for today. So we have our ongoing sifting through the tasks for the fall outreach plan, seeing where we are, who's doing what, how are things going, what's next. And as part of that, I put reviewing the October newsletter, which I have drafted. And I did it a little bit differently this time. So I'm curious what people think about it. So all of that said, I am not exactly sure where to start, but I'm going to go ahead and open the fall outreach plan just for anybody who hasn't looked at it recently, including myself, just to refamiliarize a little bit. We have some tasks that Aiden generated. I still feel strange calling an AI by a name, but anyway, it's cool. Tasks that Aiden generated around updating investment materials, sending an update. I'm not really sure what the update is about. Then dividing the contacts, which Ben was referencing earlier. We have scenario planning, which has been ongoing. And then down below, we have some other previous tasks we came up with, including, as Ben mentioned, the story seeds, the announcement, which is taking the form of the newsletter and social media posts, pitch events, and then kind of tracking how all of the outreach is going over the next few months, as well as checking in, making sure we schedule checking in so that we can kind of reflect and stay on track. Yeah, so Ben, I'm going to lean on you for facilitator support. Do you have a proposal for where to start in terms of using our time wisely?
I think that basically I can do a really quick update on just a few items that are sort of more outreachy. And because there's some updates that got mentioned in the Heartwork meeting, and I think really just really just diving into the review of the newsletter, moving that forward. You asked about what the update was about, and that got added in. We started working on our fall outreach plan, and then we had the little hiccup of a property offer coming in and the uncertainty that generated. And the update is sort of a short-term strategy as we're working out some of the more, figuring out where pitch events might happen is going to take a little more legwork. And the update gives us an opportunity to reach out to some of the high priority contacts on our list and just kind of say, hey, by the by, there's this stuff is going on. So it's really it's in it works really well with the newsletter. Sort of, it's an opportunity to kind of do a personal contact around the same sort of information that's included in the outreach newsletter. So, oh, and then just in terms of some technical stuff, I've continued to work on the CRM and making really this week I've been sprinting to stay in place. I've made incredible strides on a whole bunch of fronts, but I can't check anything off my to-do list. But the CRM is one of those things where there's been big progress, but it's not a done thing yet. Just as an aside, I've discovered what I think might be my new favorite toy, which is Airtable, which is it's actually a database, but you interact with it like spreadsheet. So it's like Google Sheets on steroids, and it has an AI built-in component where instead of adding formulas to columns, you just tell it what you want it to do, and it adds the formulas to the columns. So it's pretty slick so far. So those are the updates, and then yeah, I think I mean probably go around just to make sure, see if anybody has anything else that they want that's important to them. But otherwise, I'd say let's dive into the newsletter.
Awesome. Over to you, Roland, if you have anything you'd like to add.
I don't have anything to add. Thanks to Ben for the update. over to Becca.
Who may not be available.
Okay.
Okay.
So then back to Ronnie.
Right. Let me change screens here. I had set up a preview of the newsletter, which in the top says August on the tab. I will change that. I haven't done all of those detaily things yet. So just to preface this newsletter, I tried to make it look a little spiffier. I changed the font to the Montserrat font that we have on other materials. And I also did use ChatGPT to help write it, and I incorporated 2 story seeds, and just basically asked the AI to be relational and warm and inviting and positive. And anyway, I'm curious what y'all think about what it came up with. Firstly, I have this meme that Roland made that I felt like was very appropriate, because we're inviting people to participate, right, in a really big way. So there's that. And this newsletter is more narrative form and it's a bit longer. And I thought it would be nice to kind of tell a bit more of a story about how the summer went, the kind of bump in the road that y'all experienced, that we all experienced, and kind of how that brings us to this ask that we're putting out. Do y'all want to just read it on your own individually? Is that easiest?
Works for me. I'm amenable.
It works for me.
Okay, so here's this part, and let me know when you're ready for me to scroll.
I'm good.
Mhm. Good.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I put this picture at the end of that section, kind of like the road ahead. And then I put in the little ad for admin support. And this needs to be tweaked. I don't think it just, I wanted to put something.
I love that picture of Matilda.
Yeah.
It's almost like the Uncle Sam, like, we want you.
Yeah.
And then the rest is just standard. So
Awesome.
yeah, thoughts, feedback, changes. Over to you, Roland.
Oh, well, I was just wondering, there's a very real possibility that everyone who's going to read this already knows that what we mean by an offer is that the land is still up for sale. But I was wondering about maybe just adding a real estate office offer or something like that, just to clarify what we mean by an offer.
Okay.
And I think that's my main comment. Otherwise, it's great. I like the changes in the character from bold italic to bold to underlined, and so that works really nicely. Over to Ben.
I like it, and I had a couple little tweaks, and now I'm going to try to remember. I should have written them down. I kind of feel like the offer thing is clear enough, and it does say, the land is still available as sort of a following that. Where was it? There were 2 things. One was the story seed for the investor, and I think there's another one that might work better.
Okay.
In this context. There's something about you know, it sometimes this isn't investing in, oh, what's it? I mean, there's only three of them, and it's the one of the other ones.
Yeah, and I thought we could just I think I can pull it. Yeah, I can pull it up really quick. Um,
Here we go.
the first one.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I like that.
yeah.
Cool.
And then there was another one where there was just a phrase, and I thought the phrase was too um, sort of stark. But I can't remember. I think it was around the offer coming in and oh, fell through. That was um it's just softening it a little bit, like the offer, you know, the offer wasn't accepted.
Okay. Okay.
I think that's pretty much it. I love that photo. Um, and actually the two are good together. But a little update, we're gonna have to take another photo because we don't have potholes anymore.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm just, oh, let me reshare my screen. I'm just making notes on the proposed changes. I don't forget. But what is a farm without potholes? I mean,
In good repair?
true.
Well, I was gonna say, you know, give us one winter. We'll give you some
Yeah.
potholes.
Yeah.
Darn snow. Those were the main changes, right? Changing the
Yeah.
story seed. Okay. Okay. In terms of the ad for the admin,
Mm.
I said, you know, in exchange you can come stay on the farm. I think that's really was really vague.
Uh-huh.
Like how because I think the details would have to be worked out, right? How much time is someone putting in, and then how much time do they get on the farm? Do you think it's okay as vague as it is?
I think it's totally okay, and I think we could say also either time on the farm or coaching,
Okay.
personal coaching for building your lifeboat, something like that. We still have to figure out a bit what that admin support looks like. So, you
Yeah,
know,
I
it's
also wasn't sure. Like, I tried to leave that vague too.
yeah. And I mean, this is the thing too, is it really depends on if there is interest.
Yeah.
Right now, we're just putting out a feeler and
Any other considerations about the newsletter? Over to you, Roland.
No, that's, I think I'm happy with it.
yeah.
Other comments? Over to Ben.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. And the only question left in my mind is thinking about timing for like how do we want to time the release for does it need to be timed with anything else?
Hmm.
But that's the only thing on my mind. I think it looks really good.
Um,
I wonder actually if there might be a placeholder in there to um I'm thinking about the events, like sort of pitch events. Do we want to, because we could also schedule, it would be good to have something in the newsletter about if you're interested in more details, and if we can pick a time when we can do one of our info sessions. I think we've got a fairly good PowerPoint ready to go now. There were um, one of the things I did recently because Jenna and Nick were coming, I did a polish on the presentation, which I had the PowerPoint presentation that you saw that I haven't really touched since I've been doing the Aiden stuff. And in hindsight, it seemed really dumpy, like really bloated and not nearly as tight. And so I worked with Aiden to do what I call the sleek version, and then I gave the sleek version to Nick and Jenna, and they both quite liked it, but then they came back with questions that were in the sleek version or in the bloated version. But now I think I've found the happy medium of putting in a couple slides that answer those questions. And so now we've got probably between 10 and 15-minute presentation that covers all the main points and then opens up for, questions and stuff. So we've got some, including we've got some ways of tailoring it for people who are more likely to be timeshare croppers or benefactors or community partners. So I guess let's hold off sending it out until we see if we can actually schedule a time, just having a placeholder on the calendar for when people who might be interested could attend.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, cool. Shall we move on to the other outreach tasks?
Sure.
Yep.
So we already sort of touched on sending an update, which is a more one-on-one kind of version of the newsletter. It seems like, okay, and it will contain pretty much the same content. Where are
Actually, and click on that. I think that there are email. Yeah. This is also Aiden co-created templates. So the update, we actually have scripts in there or templates in there for um, how to send those.
Cool.
And Roland, are you willing to take on the reaching out to people who've been here this summer for testimonials?
I've already started.
Oh, cool. There's a template email there for reaching out to them if it's helpful. I just noticed it. Yeah, the retreat alumni guests.
Cool. Great. And then updating investment materials.
Is that outreach?
I guess not. I'm trying to remember where it was there's a cat. Hi. I'm at my mom's cat sitting, so.
Oh, nice. If you hit the close, you don't look at the detail pane, if you close that. No, the furthest right, that arrow with that one. Then there's a column that says guild.
Oh. Aha.
And if you click that one, yeah, there, and then there.
Okay, story seeds. That's up to heart work currently.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And then the announcement is the newsletter. So we've covered that. And then publishing the newsletter, we're waiting until we put an invitation to an info session.
Yeah.
Before we do that. That's all the outreach tasks on the list currently.
I think that's where we're at. I mean, in terms of from where I am sitting, yeah, this is So the things that seem like they're stuck on my desk and I don't know that anyone can take them off of my desk is getting the CRM up to date. And in part, that is there's a little bit of technology in the background, figuring out how to, and again, working with Aiden, came up with this hybrid solution that uses the Airtable so that it's not as complicated to figure out as the CRM that we were working with. And still shareable, still and easily customizable, and just not as fewer buttons and fewer widgets and things like that. And so there's getting that table ready, and then there's actually starting to load in who are all the people who are kind of the first tier of people that we want to reach out to. Once we have that together, or parallel to that, I can start sending out updates to some of those high on the list contacts. In particular, thinking about the mavens, the people that represent more than just themselves, and then updating the financial materials. I don't think anything needs to wait on that, but I have been trying to refine the investment pyramids. So we have some really specific numbers. And just by the way, what it looks like to me right now is we need 14 benefactors in two categories: long-term benefactors and social mortgage holders. And one person who will buy two footprints worth, 200 shares, two who will buy 100 shares each, and four who will buy 50 shares each. So and then I think on both sides, but
Remember what you
the
just
D
said. Just
yeah,
the numbers, Scott.
yeah, yeah.
But you figured it out. It's written down.
One at 200, two at 100, four at 50. And then likewise, I've been figuring out how many timeshare croppers timeshare croppers and caretakers combined, and that's probably in the 15 range, 15 or 18. But the numbers are actually, they're more manageable than I would have thought. The high-end investors are not as high-end as I think we could actually find. So if we found one person who was willing to do, 4 footprints or 5 footprints, then that significantly reduces the number of people we need to reach out to.
And I'm
And
sorry, that was the 15-ish timeshare croppers plus
caretakers,
caretakers.
potential caretakers and timeshare croppers. And they're both unlike the benefactors, they're people who are buying long-term and probably smaller amounts of shares, like as a timeshare cropper, or that the caretakers may have some money that they can put down, but then it's the timeshare croppers, caretakers, and people who would pledge to repay a mortgage. So like I would be a timeshare cropper for a quarter share, but I can't do it right now, but I could pay it off, a percentage each year kind of thing, to balance the people who would be the social mortgage providers. Anyhow, that's all moving forward, and the big next step. So the two things in my mind are the warm contacts, those reaching out to the people we may have lost touch with recently, checking in with them. And then the next thing is to start to figure out how we can present this in more places, online or in person, and who I don't think we want to do many that are kind of on our own, where we're just promoting it. Probably some, but Coho, Foodlands, Abundance, Linnea, community farms, Social Roots, places like that, who might be willing to host an event for us. So And my own schedule is pretty soon. I think I'm going to have to turn 100% of my attention towards getting through my week of presentations. And although that actually is something to think about, what can I be leaving with? The presentations I'm doing all are built on Lifeboat network stuff. So what do I want to leave people with? Where's do I have a handout that links to the website or, actually from an outreach perspective, that's one thing to talk about.
So what are the presentations that you're going, who could you just list the different
Yeah. I'm going to be on a panel at the CRISP Festival for Pender, so that'll be a local community event. I am sitting there representing the community justice program, but I'll be talking about circle process and the value of bringing people together in a circle. Then I'll be presenting to the BCCRN conference. Primarily, I will be talking to local coordinators of CRNs who are in every way like lifeboat builders. And April and I will be co-presenting that. And we are basically, there's this, it's, you bring people together in circles to identify guilds or learning circles and focus on experiments. Our that's our pitch. This is how you develop you do culture change at a community level. Bring people together in a circle, identify those common interest areas, the Venn diagram of the group, and then focus on short, sharp, and shiny experiments. So that's both at BCCRN, and then that Saturday, I'm going to be presenting to CHFBC, the co-op housing folks, and I will be doing how to build your lifeboat DIY. And so we'll be pitching and then, shaped to how your co-op can build its own lifeboat. Same basic concept. And then April will be presenting on our behalf at CAG, the Canadian Association of Gerontology, in Montreal towards the end of October. But it'll be the same basic format as the presentation to BCCRN. This is how you do culture change, circle, guild, experiments.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So many opportunities. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And you're
So yeah, that's it. What do we want to leave people? Yeah.
Anyway. Field one pager.
Aiden. Hey, Aiden.
We could upload all of our previous one pagers and then be like,
Yeah.
do a thing, do a magic thing.
Yeah.
So it sort of sounds like each one your being there will be a little bit, the presence of the Lifeboat Academy will be a little bit different at each one. Some of them where it is explicit and others where there's a connection. Is that right?
Yeah. It'll be explicit. It'll be explicit at CHFBC. And it'll be implied at BCCRN. And and the CRISP Festival is also interesting because it is just a Pender community. So and actually at the CRISP, my bio references both CJ and the Lifeboat Academy. So I can talk about, here on Pender, we're trying to create this, this space.
And
Okay.
what do we want to leave with them?
Yeah.
Like general information, just ways to contact or the website. Do we want to figure out which of the investment categories might be there and then have information pamphlets. We've got a number of different things that we can draw on
Mhm.
to make it sort of audience appropriate.
Yeah, it's a good. Figuring out the audience appropriateness. I mean, it's super easy to give the website and the email, and they're nice and easy to remember, you know.
Mhm.
Um, and I was even thinking about like a one pager that does that. I'm not a CR code person, but a CR code here might make a lot of sense. Um, and the CHFBC people would probably be most interested. I'm thinking about what kind of follow-up would people be interested in. Um, the local coordinators for the BCCRN, I doubt they would follow up through BCCRN about the CRN. They're probably not, it would be interesting the feedback they give on the process, but they've got their own focus. Who knows who at Pender people might be interested in. There may be some investor types, some benefactors at the Chris Festival. And then CHFBC, I think they would be interested in sort of follow-up coaching. What do I do in my co-op and how can you support me in my co-op? So they would be very potential lifeboat builders. They're unlikely to be, they might be retreat guests too, but I imagine they're more likely to be in that category of lifeboat builder.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that really, I mean, yeah, that kind of makes me think just giving the website is enough, right? Because they can kind of follow their own.
Well, there's that, and I had a similar thought, which I hope is not a can of worms. If it is, feel free to shut me down. But a CR code, so it's like a general one pager, and then a CR code that links to an online page has different links for different audiences. So if you're interested in investing, you click here, and that takes you to, that's basically a website, isn't it?
Well, and I was going to say, don't we have that already, right? So, or we should have, so then we could have different QR codes. It's actually like, click here if you're a lifeboat builder, click here if you're a potential investor, click here if you want to come visit the farm. And then it just goes to the visits page
Yeah.
or the investor page. So yeah, that's not a can of worms at all. I think that makes sense.
And I can do a QR code. Sorry. When you were saying CR codes, I was like,
Yeah.
that
See, this
sounds,
is how with
I was
it I
like,
am.
I was like, that sounds off, but I don't know why. Yeah, CRM, QR, we got it. Yeah, I can do
MOUSE.
those. Yeah. And then yeah, link to the website. And then in that process, if there's anything else we feel like should be on the website in terms of detaily stuff, I can
Right. Then that just prompts us to update the website better.
Yeah. So, okay. Do we want to decide next steps for this one pager? Or did you want to feed it to Aiden first and see what happens?
Well, I kind of wonder if don't we sort of have that already?
We have at least one from a really long time ago.
Well, I'm wondering because Aiden produces all of these like one paragraph. There's a bunch of things in the pitch that are like the elevator pitch for introducing this. So there's and actually that's a I so one of the things I did is I copied anything that I thought was relevant in terms of the Aiden stuff, a lot of just sort of like a cut and paste long sections of the chat. And I created Google Docs in a folder in the research and learning, just to have it all in one place. In the Research and Learning Guild, I created a subfolder called Aiden Tasks or something like that, Aiden something. And I cut a whole bunch of those pieces in there. So there, and then I labeled them. There's one where there's a whole bunch of chunks that I haven't, they were sort of like, a couple paragraphs here, a couple paragraphs there. I didn't quite know how to sort it. But for a lot of them, there's a document like short pitches or whatever, CRM information.
I
So
can
yeah, go ahead.
I will volunteer to look through some of that and then put together a one-pager draft. And then
Awesome.
we could look at it at the coordination circle. I'm just trying to think of like a meeting that's coming up.
Yeah. Oh, are you going to be available? Because it's Yom Kippur.
Oh, no.
So,
That's 2 Thursdays from now, right? Or 1 Thursday from that's
next Thursday.
I thought, oh yeah, okay. Because I think it starts that night. Okay.
Well, let's see if we can find a reschedule time.
Okay.
Because I like that idea. I mean, it makes sense to have a review then.
Yeah. I could meet the following. Wait, I'm not gonna. Hold on. I can't remember if Yom Kippur starts on Wednesday or Thursday.
Mm.
Um,
Hang on.
it starts Wednesday, October 1st.
Yep.
So I can be there. I can be there Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Because whatever I end up doing will be in the morning / midday. So yeah, I don't want to miss it and have to do a whole reschedule. I don't really need to.
Cool. You'll hurry up in Yom Kippur quick.
Yeah, I'll atone really fast.
Quick atonement. Look, I feel bad, okay?
Yeah.
Done.
It's just one day. It's already just one day. So.
Be on the lookout for lightning bolts.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Are we good? I think that, have we come to the end of our agenda?
I just want to make sure I make a task for myself to do that so I don't forget. And where should I put it? Can you remind me?
If you go down, priority action item. Scroll. Actually, here you can put it. You can actually just put it in the inbox where.
Like add inbox.
You're in the Outreach Guild, and so the structure in the guilds is different than the structure on the sprint.
Or presentation. Follow-ups. Presentation or presentation. Okay, good enough.
Yeah, good enough.
Let me look at Aiden. Generated. Generated. I type gender all the time. Okay, generated stuff. And okay, great.
And I'll also take a peek too, because to see if I can find something that seems relevant.
Okay, so that will be for Thursday. All right. Last thoughts round. Anything else to add before we adjourn? Over to you, Rollo.
I was actually just curious if I haven't checked, but we had talked about uploading the welcome guide to the website.
It's done.
Awesome. That was my one question.
It's on the Pharmacy Dairy page.
Cool.
At the top. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm done.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm good.
Great, me too. Good job. Good meeting. Happy Friday. Happy weekend.
Yes. Yay, weekend. Bye.
Bye.
See you soon.